A nurse has decided to blow the whistle on how hospitals are using software to help them price gouge their own patients. And this software intentionally marks up prices anywhere between 575 to 675%. So the nurse, understandably, did not want to reveal what his or her name is because he or she is concerned about getting fired as a result. But at one point, the nurse worked at the Scripps Memorial Hospital and noticed that this software was being used to mark up the prices of procedures that patients were getting. So this software is known to use something known as automatic revenue coding. Very cool. And here's what we know. For example, one screenshot is for sutures. That is medical thread, AKA stitches. Scripps's system put the basic cost per unit at $19.30, but the system said the computed charge per unit was $149.58. This is how much the patient and his or her insurer would be billed. There are more examples. For instance, Scripps automatic system took the actual cost of sutures, imposed an apparently preset 675% markup, and produced a bill amount that was orders of magnitude higher than the true price. This is separate from any additional charge for the doctor, the anesthesiologist, x-rays, or hospital facilities. Here's another example. Another screenshot showed the pricing for an antimicrobial solution to clean the patient's wound. Scripps's cost per unit was $73.50. The billed amount ended up being $496.13. Blades for a cutting tool used by the surgeon had a cost per unit. By the way, why are patients paying for that? Why are patients paying for the cutting tool used by the surgeon? But nonetheless, had a cost.
And every time.
Yeah, had a cost per unit of $98.53. But the hospital billed it as $665.08. Now, why are they doing this? They're doing it because we have a system that's dominated by private health insurance companies that do not want to pay for the entirety of procedures, right? There's usually haggling going on between the hospital, meaning the healthcare provider, and the private insurance company. And in order to kind of get a leg up in these negotiations, what the hospital will do is intentionally mark up the prices of the various procedures that they're providing for their patients. And then eventually, after going back and forth with the insurance company, the price is lowered to some extent. But understand that this artificially drives up the cost of the procedures that Americans need to get to stay alive. It's insane. So anyway, Cenk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised by this. And at the heart of the issue is what we've been saying, that we rely on a private insurance model.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna pick it up, Anna. Look, guys, in other countries don't do this. You've been trained by corporate media to think this is normal. It is not normal almost anywhere else in the world. So it's because in our system, every layer of healthcare where there's any kind of larger business must make not only profit, but massive, ridiculous profit. They, at a bare minimum, they gotta make 15% every single year because of the stock market, right? It's a greed machine and it demands more, more, more. Where are they gonna get it from? They're gonna get it from you, okay? So the hospitals are private in most instances, so they say, all right, now I want money. So who am I gonna get the money from? Mainly from insurance companies. Well, they'll also for profit. Now, when the hospitals charge insurance companies a ton of money, then the insurance companies charge you a ton of money, because then that's why you gotta pay your deductibles, your premiums, all of these other things that are making us drown in healthcare costs. And then they play these ridiculous games of, all right, I'll inflate prices. Are we at a mechanic here? At a car garage? Oh, you know what, the carburetor doesn't cost 200 bucks. I bet I can get it for 80 bucks down the street. And that's what we're doing with people's lives. And other countries don't do this. This is insane. So they have normal prices that they charge, and that is why the healthcare system of a country like Japan, for example, is half of what we pay. Per capita, per person, they pay half. And guess what? Better results on almost every metric of health, including life expectancy. All of this does not help our health one bit. In fact, clearly hurts our health.
Exactly.
And bankrupts us.
Exactly.
All for the benefit of more profits for privatized healthcare, insurance, and hospitals.
Listen, the most important part of healthcare is preventative healthcare, right? Which is why when you compare the United States, which is a well-resourced country, to a poorer country like Cuba, you have to ask yourselves, well, why is it that the life expectancy of an ordinary American is similar to that of a Cuban, right? And it's because they're hyper-focused on preventative healthcare because they don't have the resources to provide necessary healthcare when someone's condition has devolved further, right? Where it's gonna be a lot more expensive to treat a patient. In the United States, because of how this model works, people are discouraged from obtaining preventative healthcare because you have no idea what kind of surprise bill you're gonna get. You have no idea how much the cost of that care or the cost of the prescription drugs are gonna be intentionally marked up by the provider, right? So, again, we're seeing this not just in procedures, we're seeing it when it comes to pharmaceutical drugs as well. And the new wrinkle to the story is that now, an increasing number of hospitals are just relying on software to do the dirty work for them, right? So just put in a procedure, put in what percentage you like to mark certain things up to, and then the software is like beep bop boop. Okay, let's price gouge these patients in the hopes that by doing so we'll secure more money from the private insurance company. And as the whistleblower nurse says, I started asking questions. I was told that if we don't mark things up like this, insurance companies wouldn't give us what we want.
Yeah, and so now they leave out a very important part of that, which is that sometimes people don't have insurance or they're out of network, which is much more likely, right? And then boom, they get hit with a massive bill that was marked up 675% for no reason at all. Now, a lot of good Americans don't even know that the hospitals and doctors are lying to you. Not about healthcare, they're good in saying, yes, these are the things that you need to do, and they're very good at saving your life, etc., right? But about the bills, they're totally lying, right? And a lot of people think, that's hey, a man's gotta pay his debts, and that's my debt, and it might be a minor procedure, or maybe they saved your life and you feel indebted, and then you wind up paying this. You're not supposed to pay it. You're supposed to haggle like you're at a swap meet.
It's crazy.
Right? But then it also depends on how good a haggler you are. This is insane.
Yeah.
What if it's a little old lady who doesn't know how to negotiate? And then they come, and by the way, it's not like the people on the other side are softies. No, they try to intimidate you, bully you, etc., into paying as much as possible.
Well, look, as Sheryl Sandberg will tell you, ladies, you just gotta lean in, learn how to negotiate.
Yeah, and
it's disgusting.
Yes, and so you're the one who's gonna get caught in the gears, whether it's because you're out of network or you have to pay the deductible, all of these different things. Plus, it doesn't matter anyway because all those costs get pushed down to you through the insurance companies anyway. So you're doubly screwed. And the last thing here, guys, is Anna mentioned the Cuba example. So a lot of Republicans will be like, what do you want us to be like Cuba? No, guys, you're missing it. Cuba is obviously very poor right now, but even they have better healthcare than us. That means we are definitely not prioritizing the health of our citizens. We're prioritizing the profits of our companies. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.